Piper of Hamelin. Hamelin was a town full of millers and bakers. Every day barges arrived at Hamelin harbour with big sacks of wheat from the nearby farms. The wheat was taken to the mills to ground into flour. The flour was sent to the bakers, and the bakers made loaves of bread and sweet cakes and lots of delicious things to eat. The people of Hamelin were very happy. They had good jobs and good food and little to worry about. Until one day, a big black rat jumped off a barge in the harbour and ran into the town. A sailor tried to grab it. A cat tried to snatch it, but the rat was too quick. It disappeared down a hole and the sailor forgot all about it. The next day, another rat jumped off a barge, and another, and another. The people in the harbour couldn't believe it. They had never seen so much as a mouse in Hamelin before, but overnight the town was overrun with rats. There were rats in the shops, rats in the streets, rats in the kitchens, and rats in the beds. They ate the food in the cupboards and nibbled holes in clothes. They munched through wires and gnawed right through the floorboards. There were rats everywhere. Nobody could open their wardrobes, climb into bed, or put on their shoes without checking to see if a rat was there. The town was being ruined by rats, but nobody knew what to do about it. They tried setting cats on the rats, but the rats outnumbered the cats. They tried to poison the rats, but the rats were too clever to eat the poisoned food. They tried to lay traps for the rats, but the traps didn't work because the rats were too big and strong. It looked like nothing could stop the rats. "Something has to be done," cried the people. "We can't go on like this." They gathered in the town and marched to the mayor's house. "The mayor will help us," somebody said. "He'll think of something to get rid of those rats." The mayor appeared, surrounded by his advisers. He coughed rather nervously, then said, "People of Hamelin, I know why you have come here today. It's because of those pesky rats. We have tried everything we know of, cats and poison and traps, but nothing has worked. I've run out of ideas, but I will offer a big bag of gold to the person who can fix this problem." A strange-looking man stepped forwards from the crowd. He wore brightly coloured clothes and an odd hat with a feather in it. A long wooden pipe hung down from his belt. As he spoke, his fingers danced over the pipe like he was playing it. "I am the Pied Piper," he said. "I can get rid of your rats, every single one of them. I will do this in exchange for your gold." Everyone was astonished. Who was this man, and why hadn't he done something sooner? There was something very strange about him, but the mayor was quick to agree. "Yes, yes," he said. "We just want the rats to go away. Do anything, anything. We will pay you the gold, I promise, but only after the very last rat has gone from Hamelin." The Pied Piper drew his pipe from his belt and started to play a strange, enchanting tune. The first rats gathered slowly. They came towards the piper as though they were sleepwalking. Then more rats came. They poured out of the shops and offices, down drain pipes and out of the sewers. When every rat in Hamelin was gathered around the piper, he started walking through the town. The rats followed him as if by magic. They followed him down the high street, through the park and into the harbour. The Pied Piper stepped onto a boat and pushed it away from the harbour. All the while he kept playing his tune. The rats followed the piper's boat right out into the sea until they had all drowned. As promised, the Pied Piper had rid the town of rats. He marched back to the mayor and demanded his bag of gold. "A whole bag of gold?" said the mayor. "Don't be silly. You barely did anything. Those rats drowned themselves. I will give you a few coins, but that is all." He threw down some coins at the piper and turned away. But the Pied Piper was very angry now. "You promised me a full bag of gold," he said. "If I were you, I'd pay up quickly. I can play other tunes and they don't just work on rats." "Ha!" said the mayor. "What could you do? You're just a silly musician. You don't have any power here." This annoyed the piper even more. He picked up his pipe and started to play again. The tune was a bright and cheerful dance, but, like the last song, it was strange and enchanting. Suddenly, a little girl came skipping out of the school and down the road towards the piper. She twirled around to the music, ignoring the looks the adults gave her. Then another child came, and another. Every child in the town stopped what they were doing and came to dance around the piper. Parents cried out to their children, "Lucy, James, stop dancing!" But the children couldn't hear them. They could only hear the magical music. When the piper started walking, there was nothing the parents could do to stop their children following him. "What if he takes them to the river and drowns them?" said one mother. So everyone was relieved when the piper went the other way. The children followed him out of the town, through the forest and up towards the mountain. A door opened in the side of the mountain. The children went in, and the door slammed shut again. The children had gone. The adults were terrified and furious. "Our children!" they cried. "How will we get them back?" A few men went to the mountain and hacked at the rock with axes and spades, but it was no use. They all knew that the door was magical and only the piper would bring back their children. The people soon turned on the mayor. "Look what you have done," they said. "Look, you should have paid the piper when he asked you to. Give him the money or we'll kick you out of town." The next day, the piper came back to the mayor. "Will you pay me now?" he said. "You have seen what I can do. Only I can bring your children back, but I will only do it if you pay me what I'm owed. If you refuse, you will never see your children again." The mayor agreed to pay the Pied Piper. The next day, the piper came strolling back into town with the children dancing behind him. Everyone was overjoyed. The children were back and the rats had gone. The town could at last be happy again, and they had learned never to break a promise. The end.